Well, good morning and welcome back. This is hour number 2, and our next guest is going to be calling in, and this will actually go hand in hand with Leo. In the last half of the hour, we're going to talk a little bit about mold and some of your new certifications you got there. But let's welcome our guest right after our 2-minute tip of the week. Mr. Bill Dobman, are you with us with My Shower Door?
I am here, Katrina. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're going to dive into you in just a moment, right after we talk to Mr. Adam Talley about our 2-minute tip of the week.
Yeah, so I guess if we're going to talk about mold, we should talk about if mold is covered under your insurance policy, right? So
yeah, that's a good one.
It is a good one. So there is mold coverage in there. Now it's limited, and you'll see it listed as fungi, something another in there. And there's 2 limits. It's a $10,000 for the property, and there's a $50,000 liability limit in there for it. But I'm sure, as Leo can attest, when it comes to making a claim on that, we see very few that actually get, paid out on. What do you see on your side with that?
As far as pay, I mean, there's a provision in most insurance policies for the dry out piece of mold,
right,
and it's capped at $10,000,
right? Which
is stupid because if it's a 1-bedroom apartment, it's capped at $10,000. If it's a 7,000 square foot house,
it's capped at $10,000.
Capped at $10,000. So what you find is these mold restoration dry out companies, they love apartment buildings,
right?
And they hate houses. So if you're in an apartment building that has a sprinkler pipe leak, they'll have a fleet of vehicles there within 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if you're a 7,000 square foot house, you're begging them to show up.
Right.
For the same reason.
Right.
So, but as far as the restoration goes, like after it's been dried out, then the sky's the limit as far as
then you're going back to your normal limits and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what we are seeing, and this is some good something to prepare for in the future. Seeing a lot of carriers that are limiting, the age of roofs to 10 years or newer at new business. I saw there's a bit of legislation that's trying to. It's very early stages, nowhere close to getting even in front of anybody, but they might do automatic ACV on roofs after 10 years.
What does that mean? Automatic
actual cash
value. So you'll have the depreciated value of your roof after 10 years if something happens.
The insurance companies have to do something to compete with the lawyers who make a practice of suing insurance companies.
Right.
The largest law firm, the largest advertised law firm, you see there are billboards everywhere.
Yeah.
They solely exist to sue insurance companies.
Yes. So if you want to know why your rates are going up, pass that billboard and give them a thumbs up. Yeah.
There's a couple bills on right now as it relates to insurance.
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to limit the amount of fees and multiples and that kind of stuff that the attorneys are doing. So I can't remember the stat. Maybe Leo might know it, but out of all the claims, I think there's only 15 or 20% of them actually have an attorney involved, but that accounts for 65+% of the amount of payout that's going on for claims. Yeah, something's not right there with that.
It's amazing what we see. You have to think you could have a $16,000 roof, mm-hmm, and you put an attorney on it. Now you're a $60,000 claim.
Right.
How is that even possible?
All the fees.
All the fees. And this is not to say that all the attorneys. I don't want to bash poor Erin, because we love Erin. She's great.
The people making the laws are working in their provisions on to get paid.
Yes.
And the people making the laws aren't always the smartest when it comes to putting numbers on paper, because it's $10,000 if it's a 7,000 square foot house, and it's $10,000 if it's a 250 square foot IKEA condo.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways,
how was your tip related this week as it relates to?
It was there is coverage in there for it, but it's limited. That was
for the dry out
the dry out part. So, but we do get that question a lot. Is mold covered? All this other stuff. Now, we had somebody that they just had bought a house and the mold was in there. I'm like, well, that sounds like a pre-existing condition to me.
Possibly. It only takes 72 hours for mold to grow.
So they called me the weekend, and they closed on a
Leo's
Thursday.
Leo's I could argue that.
I could argue that.
Well, I'll send them to you next time.
Aaron and I could argue that.
I bet you could. You guys are sharp.
Oh, all right. So let's go to Mr. Bill. Good morning. Thanks for listening to our chatter this morning on what's covered and who's arguing what. Tell me a little bit about My Shower Door. So what do you guys do?
Well, I guess if I didn't tell you, you probably have a pretty good guess, right?
Are you installing new ones? Are you like remodeling the whole bathrooms? Like, tell us more about you guys.
No. So we have a glass and glazing license. So we are only licensed for our scope of work, which is a glazer. So we do shower doors, but what we specialize is in heavy glass, frameless shower doors. To know the difference, maybe 10, 15 years ago, builders were constantly putting in shower doors that have the aluminum frame all around the perimeter of the glass.
Oh, yes.
It's generally lightweight glass. Sometimes it was even obscured type glass where you couldn't see through it, which was very inexpensive glass because it had flaws in it. So we saw the trend starting in the mid-'80s of going to the frameless door. It came over from Europe. I was one of the first ones on the bandwagon to start doing frameless shower doors. And since then, we've made many changes and adjustments, and the popularity of frameless shower doors has grown exponentially over the years. My shower door is based, it's a Florida-based company. We have our own manufacturing plant in Lee County, and we have 9 frameless shower door showrooms throughout the state of Florida.
So that's all you guys do is basically you manufacture, sell, and install all your own products as it relates to shower doors, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to say that's all we do, because what's happened over the years is people have found that this type of glass is very good for other applications. So we started an architectural division. So we're doing wine closets, glass railing systems, office partitions, things that still use the heavy glass, just with different hardware to hold it in place. So our architectural division has done many things, from auto dealership showrooms, the Hertz global headquarters down here in the Bonita Springs, Estero area. But we also ship glass across the country from our manufacturing plant. We've sent glass up to Florida University at their microbiology lab. We've done Disney hotels and sent it out to Lackland Air Force Base in Texas.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome. So what does the warranty look like on these big, heavy pieces of glass, especially being in some major public places, right?
Well, depending on what the architect has spec'd and what product goes in, because we have different thicknesses of glass and different size and different styles. You can get a clear glass that has some greenish tint to it, which is the iron content, or you can purchase what they call low iron glass, which has a better clarity. Each of them have different factors involved. So when you say the warranty, generally builders or architects require us to warranty our product for 1 year for their builder's warranty. But I mean, we warranty our glass, especially if you put our coating on it. And I heard you talking about mold earlier. We have a coating that goes on the glass, and this is really not for mold, but it's for the corrosive things after you shower, the minerals that embed into the pores of the glass. And at that point, we give a 10-year warranty. So, and that's not really for glass breaking. That's just so your glass doesn't get damaged from the corrosive things after you get done showering and the water evaporates. The minerals that are left over have a tendency to embed into the pores of the glass. So we have formulated a special coating that not only sheds water, similar to what a Rain-X does, but it also seals the pores of the glass with a covalent bonding, and some minerals can't get into the pores.
Now, this is when you manufacture it, you build that into the glass, right?
It's an option because there's a cost involved. So some people purchase shower doors and they say, no, we wipe it down, we squeegee it, we don't need that coating. We'll make sure it stays good. But other people say, no, I've got 2 guest bathrooms, and I know the people that stay over, they're not going to take care of the door. I just soon purchase the coating, and I don't have to worry about it. So,
well, I tell you, I squeegee my shower, but I still put that coating on it because it was really expensive to remodel my bathroom with those shower doors. So I don't want to have to change that again in the future. So, well, let's talk about that a little bit more. Is that different than the Health Guard product? That's something else, right?
Yeah, health guards are things that we found that people could use. You know, when COVID first started,
Well,
you saw stores
Bill,
like Publix.
hold on a second, Bill. We're going to talk about the health guard when we come back because we have to roll to a break.
Okay.
But if you got some questions about these shower doors, now's a great time to call or text them to
813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775.
Call or text all
Yes.
your questions for Bill. One last time.
813-377-2775.
Or if you want to get the value of your home, don't forget from hour number 1, we can do
Yeah.
that too. All right, Bill, stick around. Listeners, stick around. We'll be back in just a moment for Tampa Home Talk.
I'll be here.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. Usually we get a little bit of a warning before that happens. Wouldn't you think?
We're back now.
We're back now.
We are.
And we have Bill Dotman with My Shower Door on the phone still.
Thanks for sticking in there with us during the break, Mr. Bill. And let's
My
talk
pleasure.
a little bit about Health Guard. That's what you started to get into before we had to roll to the break, and that's a little bit different than the what's the coating called that seals the minerals and keeps them out? What's that called? Or seals the glass?
Well, it's called the coating is called My Easy Care Shield. We have our brands of shower doors that all start with My, whether it's a My Pivot door, My Sliding door. So the My Health Guards are a replacement of solid glass. Like I said, when COVID first came out, you saw Costco and Publix and all the major stores using plexiglass shields between customers and employees. Those were good temporary shields, but many places want something more substantial, and not just for COVID, but for the flu season and sometimes even security. So we've been doing quite a bit for communities, for counties, tax assessor's office, registry, collector's offices, putting up glass panels on the countertops. So not only does it protect against things like COVID and the flu, but it also protects for security. And that's become very, very popular.
So, yeah, I can imagine how many places you've installed this. I think when it first started, people were thinking it wasn't going to be as long-lived as it actually is. So I think that's, I'm sure, part of the spike in the demand. But what's the lifespan on your products? Can you give us an idea what that looks like?
Well, lifespan on a shower door, it's made of glass with very substantial hardware. I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't go 20, 30 years. I mean, we opened in Naples in 2003, and I haven't had one where I've had to take it out because it's been defective. So we're 17 years in. Before that, I did this business 15 years in Western Massachusetts, and haven't had any there. So
well, that's good. What I'm hearing, Bill, when you say that is the shower doors will last as long as you want them to, and by the time you replace them, they'll actually be out of style. Right?
Yeah, very well. But when you're looking at frameless, they're kind of like timeless. They don't go out of style.
That's how it's been.
People they're buying the gridscapes now, which is kind of a trend, with the black grill work applied to the glass, just to give it an architectural flavor.
What does that look like? Can you chat more about that? Because that doesn't sound familiar to me. Can you describe that?
Well, gridscapes is a shower door product where you would, instead of having just a panel of glass, it would be trimmed with generally black metal all the way around the perimeter and then made individual panes.
Oh.
So if you had a 6-foot door and 3 feet wide, you may see 9 panes. And all that is channeling put in between all those panels. But it's actually applied on the surface of the original frameless door.
I think these will be a trendy thing that goes out. That's what I think.
I like the way that looks. That's very nice. Wait, you don't?
It's got a great look. It's a pain to clean.
Not really. No, I don't like it for that reason, I think.
Architecturally, it looks great. We're finding that the people that are purchasing aren't the ones that are cleaning it.
I was going to say, they look like the type of door that you would pay someone to clean your entire place.
That's a housekeeper door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
the nightmare.
Like if you look at a window that has like the grid patterns in it, kind of like that, but on a door, and what I'm looking at is frosted. So
right. I would think structurally though that's
black.
Better.
Yeah, and black frame. Yeah. Not white.
And black is the hot finish right now.
Yeah, that's
So,
going to
and those
get
things are
dated.
trendy.
Yes, that's going to get dated real quick. I give that 5 years.
Really? What do you think's coming next?
I never know.
Katrina, you've been in the real estate business. You can go in and you can almost tell by the appliances,
Oh,
the
yeah.
flooring, the colors
Yes.
of the decades that it was built in.
Yeah, this is 1990s. This is 2000s. Like literally.
That dark wood.
Well, it was interesting. The 90s was like all teal and purple and like all these neo 90s, some black too.
Yep.
We saw black, super contemporary. And then as we moved closer to 2000, it was stark white walls. Like everything was stark white, no color. It was interesting. And then we went to the beige, and then we went to the gray.
I'm glad the all white didn't last very long. Those people didn't have pets or children.
The white is back. The white is back in new construction.
It's more of like an eggshell
It's
gray white.
white.
Though.
It's gray and white,
Yeah.
and it's all over
it's still
Stark
gray.
Ranch.
Cream
Yeah.
white.
It's the white kitchen, the white cabinetry with the white granite with the gray. The only gray in the whole place is in the granite.
You know what I actually can't stand is the mismatched cabinets where the island is a different or the bottom is a different color than the top.
I
Oh,
like it if it's done right.
I can't stand it. It looks to me like the builder ran out of cabinets and just put something else in there.
What about when the bottom is like navy blue,
Don't like it
dark
at all.
navy blue, and then the whole rest of the kitchen is white?
Now, if it's all blue with a light colored, like
Absolutely,
a white granite,
looks amazing.
I love
But
that.
the two-tone
If it's all the
cabinet,
same,
If it's
I
all the
don't
same.
like
Yeah, no,
different
yeah, it
but
needs
if
to
you
be
go with
monochromatic.
if you go with a too drastic, it's
Yeah, you don't need red. You don't need
I
blue on
don't
the bottom
like
and red on the top
any
or
of it.
something
It
like
looks
that.
to me like somebody went to Habitat and
Yep.
threw cabinets.
I
in
had
the
a lady
home.
put in red distressed cabinets thinking that it would look like the barn effect. Well, you're in a tract development. Why are you trying to have the barn effect in your kitchen? We're talking red barn.
Farm
effect.
animals do not belong in the kitchen. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, barn animals belong in the kitchen. They belong
Maybe
in the
in Leah's
fridge,
house.
in the oven.
Maybe
they
in
belong in the
our-
freezer.
You can thank HGTV for all of that.
Absolutely.
Because you see the Property Brothers or
Oh, yeah.
Katrina on the, Christine on the Coast. Those shows, that's what they do. You see the big mosaic tiles for backsplashes too. They make a statement when you come in, but boy, you get tired of them in a year.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know I can tell for myself. Like I'm not a super trendy person, but I did paint my master bathroom like this Ralph, and I can always tell by the paint too, because like Ralph Lauren has
Yep.
like this iridescent color, and I painted my own bathroom this bronze color. Loved it when I painted it. I hate it now. I'm so ready to paint over it.
Oh yeah, we see people. I think people should make their backsplash interchangeable. I think people should just stop making it permanent.
Yeah.
Do peel and
I
stick.
can
Because people will
literally-
change out backsplash 3 times in
Yeah.
5 years.
I can walk into a house though and go, yeah, that's Ralph Lauren paint. It's pretty crazy.
I can too, especially with Ralph Lauren, because his
It's so-
colors
yeah.
are.
They do the sparkly
distinct.
bold. Yeah.
Well, it's Hilfiger does the
Hey,
same
Katrina,
ones too.
let me ask you this, Katrina. When you walk into a home and you're evaluating a home, have you paid attention to what type of shower doors they have? Can you see the dating on that as well?
Oh yeah.
And as
Yeah,
a
I mean,
appraiser,
if it's got a gold trim versus a silver trim versus a frameless, yeah, that tells me a lot.
absolutely. And when there's no shower doors, there's a distinct difference in value.
Now, on my own shower doors, I did almost frameless, but I did the bronze, like a little bit at the top because it matched everything else in the bathroom. That I'll probably date, but I liked it.
I would just keep your faucets the same color, and then it would
They
never
are.
date itself.
Everything's the
It
same.
would, and then it will last the test of time.
It'll still be dated. It's like walking into a house seeing gold fixtures. That
Yeah.
It'll date. It will date for sure. That's something that
I
changes
hate
every.
gold doorknobs.
Yeah, but that's again, it
hate
dated.
'em.
That thing that was in the 90s.
It was so in.
Yeah.
People paid an upgrade for them.
So, Bill.
Unless they're real gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you might see that, in some really big, expensive places like where I was yesterday. Sure.
Yeah.
Facebook Live video. Anyway, so what are the prices like, Bill, on your frameless showers? Because you have a lot of different ones, right?
Oh yeah, everything. That question there is almost like, oh, how much is a car?
Well, give me a
It can
range.
start at a very basic starter. If you're talking about a shower door, which is a single door, say your opening is 24, 30 inches wide maybe and 6 feet tall, you could do a nice heavy glass frameless shower door for under $900 installed.
Wow, that's pretty good.
However, you could have a intricate steam shower that goes all the way to the ceiling with 5 panels and multiple angles with even thicker glass, because we do a lot of half-inch thick glass instead of 3/8. and that could be in the $3,500 to $4,000 range.
Yeah,
There's huge ranges.
I was listening to you as you were talking about this, and thinking about how much I paid for my shower doors, and yeah, they were a little more than that, but yeah, but they're nice.
Yeah, it depends on the size.
If it's all custom,
there's a lot of factors involved.
Yeah,
and that's one of the problems we have as a contractor, trying to price things. Everybody's doing internet shopping. Says, oh, we're shopping your doors against a big box store. Well, it's not even a comparison. How is that even an option? You know, you take a big box store that sells a frameless shower door out of a box. It's not cut to size to your wall. If your wall's out of plumb, and you know almost every wall's out of plumb, so they're giving you gaskets to fill in, and then, of course, you've got to install it yourself. And they're trying to compare that price against the price of somebody that's done this for years and goes out and professionally installs it and measures it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine installing a piece of glass yourself?
No, it's usually a couple people. It's a few people that do it.
Yeah, exactly. I hope it comes with Band-Aids and gauze.
Yeah.
So, Bill, it's been awesome talking to you. If you would like, hang out with us. We're going to go to Leo right after this next break, and we're going to talk about the number one place, right, where you get mold is
the kitchen.
Shower. Yeah, the kitchen? Okay.
The bathroom.
I'm convinced it's right around the air handler.
I think it's a shower.
We'll talk about all that when we come back from break.
So we're going to talk about how Leo is now an expert mold guy. Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. So bring your mold questions. Call or text them to 813-377-2775, and Leo will answer them during the next segment. 813-377-2775. We'll be back in a minute.
Well, welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. This is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance. Or welcome home.
Welcome home. I like welcome home. Welcome home.
Welcome home, too.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. You're back to Tampa Home
Yeah,
Talk.
we got Bill still on the line, and we're about to talk all about mold with Leo, which is, it's going to be exciting.
So what's the technical answer when I ask you, what is mold, Leo?
Well, mold is you know how back in science class they taught you there are animals, there are plants, and there are fungus. Mold is a type of fungi.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So that's on the definition. But mold is very important.
What is mold? I wanted to hear this. What is mold?
Mold is very, very important for our natural cycle. I was watching a nature documentary about fungus and mold and how it forms an underground web moving nutrients to different trees. Because we've all seen like a lichen or something that's growing on the side of a tree. A mold, what we see on the ground like a mushroom is a mold, is a fungus. And we see only the cap of the mushrooms looking at the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole net of like, it looks like a spider web almost.
Yeah.
And what that can do is that mold can move take nutrients, it can move nutrients around to different trees, and it can keep whole forests and ecosystems alive. That's a benefit of mold. Other molds that we love, blue cheese is a mold. Can't have beer without mold.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms actually will stop hunger and
What's your favorite
speed up your
mushroom?
metabolism because your body recognizes it as a fungi, and it'll actually help you to lose weight.
What's your favorite mushroom?
I don't eat mushrooms.
You don't eat mushrooms? Why not? They're so good.
They're fungi.
They're so good for you. Hen of the woods.
Hen of the woods, those are delicious. Nice, meaty, big ones. My favorites are the morels.
Okay, yeah, morels, another good one.
Yeah.
So what are 10 things our listeners should know about mold?
Don't get it, don't touch it.
I saw that question on the list of 13 questions that said, "What are 10 things you need to know about mold?" It's a whole show. So I will basically say
come in a lot of colors.
I'll say
black is bad.
3 things about mold you should know. Not 10 things, but 3 things. No moisture, no mold. So if you want to control mold, you control the moisture. That is the most important part.
Hence why you always
is a vapor barrier
effective to control moisture. You want to control the moisture. If you can control the moisture, the mold won't grow. The other thing you should know is mold is everywhere. It's already in your house. It's already outside of your house. When you do air sample quality tests, you're sampling the outside and the inside to see if you've got the same species and the concentration inside versus outside. So what ends up happening with an infestation is it's greater inside than it is outside. That's an infestation of mold. So control the moisture. Control the moisture is number one. Number two, I would say
into your shower and
it's
clean that up?
everywhere. And number three, I will give, if I only have 3 things to bring across, if you see mold, do not hit it with bleach.
Why not?
What ends up happening is when you spray a mold to kill it, it releases a whole bunch of things called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. It also releases things called mycotoxins. The mycotoxins are what makes you sick and everything. So when you spray it with bleach, before it dies, it tries to defend itself by just sporing everywhere and releasing all these harmful agents into the air. So if you spray it with bleach, you're actually promoting the rapid infestation of your home.
So what should you use?
There are different. You should use a
Alcohol base?
a detergent. It depends on the species of
A
mold.
detergent.
Like if I want to
the
clean,
heck
if I want to
is
clean,
a
409,
mold?
like a 409
like if I
instead
want
of a
to,
bleach.
if I want to
A
clean my
disinfectant.
shower,
If you want to clean your shower, you're going to use bleach.
Okay.
I mean, that's different. When I'm talking about mold infestation.
Okay.
It actually depends if the surface is porous, meaning it's got holes in it, like wood, cloth, a couch, a jacket.
So like up in the attic, you would just paint it?
You still have to treat it.
Seal it?
Before you paint it with something, you do have to treat the mold.
Gotcha.
You treat the mold. What I usually recommend on a homeowner-like basis is hit it with, and my wife loves it when I say 10 minutes of contact time. You want to hit it with vinegar for 10 minutes of contact time.
She's a saint, by the way.
10 minutes of contact time. She's like, how do I get rid of this?
Can
10
you
minutes of
imagine
contact
what dinner talk is like at their
All right,
house?
so talk about the 10.
It's very interesting, I'm
So
sure.
basically, when you spray, so your treatments consist of 2 things. What is it, and how long is it going to sit there? So when you do 10 minutes of contact time of a vinegar, so vinegar is like this miracle cleaner. Everyone loves vinegar. You're supposed to leave it there for a set amount of time for it to do its thing.
So spray it and walk away?
Spray it, walk away for 10 minutes, then you come back and you can wipe it down, and then usually I recommend doing that again, wipe it down, and then you can paint.
What if you forget about it?
What if you don't paint it? It comes right back, doesn't it?
Well, if you don't paint it, you're still gonna see the staining.
Just burn the house down.
Yeah, just burn the Well, that's actually a good
Which
point.
is not covered by insurance.
Arson is not. Arson is not.
The preferred
Don't do
method
that.
of mold remediation is removal. That is
Actually cutting it out.
Actually
and
cutting.
removing
That
it.
is the preferred method of remediation is removal. So you will remove, if it's drywall, you remove the drywall and replace it.
But
That
if
is,
it's your truss, if you have wood, if you have mold on your truss, there's no.
you're gonna have to
Why do you
treat
have,
it.
what do you have mold on the truss? Roof leak?
Yeah, it can have
Yeah.
a roof leak. Yeah, well,
I have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We go up in the attics and it looks like somebody just had a fire up in there, and then you got to step back and realize
That's mold?
That's mold.
That was mold, and then it was treated mold. That's why it's white and it looks painted. Everything looks painted up in here. It's because it's been treated for mold. And we see people that don't
take
put in
off for
vapor
that?
battery. You get credit for a vapor barrier. And when we're up in that attic, we stick our head up in there, and there's only one thing that we're up there to look for. Not the
Mold.
mold. That's it. And we're not even allowed to use the word mold in our report.
Wood decay fungi?
It's a mold-like substance.
No, it's
I am not
microbial
a
growth.
mold expert. I am not a mold expert. I cannot say
it
mold.
was-
It was funny. I went from one day saying microbial growth to the very next day saying mold.
Mold.
It's what it
I need to
is.
change it.
I can now say the word mold.
So let's talk about houses, right? Because you guys do a bunch of inspections. What type and where do you see the most mold
On the
in
air handler.
properties?
The air handler in the garage.
Air handler in the garage, you'll see it around
one place.
that because we get condensation. So you have the plenum going up, which is the duct where it connects.
Is that
Second one is
dangerous?
the air handler.
Wait,
like
is
that-
it if you see it, it's in the garage and it's around the?
It's not dangerous.
It's not dangerous. It's at the top,
Yeah.
and it's where it's taped in. And
Yeah,
it's the
because
condensation.
it's a
You can just
condensation
remove the
because the seal is broken on the tape, and
Yep.
your cold air is coming out, hitting the warm air of your garage, condensating. That's creating moisture, and mold needs moisture to grow.
So they can just change the tape, right?
Well, you take the tape off, clean
Gotta
the air
clean it.
conditioning, and then you can put
It's regular maintenance
Yeah.
that should be done on a house yearly.
And 10 minutes of contact time.
yearly.
well, when you
Preferably.
well, it
But the
depends
second
on
is the drain on the air handler. Now
Yeah.
we're talking about the contact in the garage at the ceiling. Now look at the drain where you pull the plug out and you really pour
Oh,
the vinegar
yeah.
down there. That's a whole
That's where the
mold
green
like
mold is.
substance
Yeah.
down there. Yeah.
So we've got that. The other common places would be in the bathroom and the kitchen.
We're talking about like shower mold or mildew, or is there a difference?
There's a difference.
Hey, careful there.
There's a difference between mildew and mold.
Not on Bill's shower.
Yeah, there's a difference. I mean, both mold and mildew are fungus or fungi, but they're not one and the same.
So say more about that.
I just did.
He's done.
Let's
It's
say
mold.
more.
It's done. It's a fungus.
So is it where it starts as mildew and turns into
No,
mold?
it's just a different species.
Oh, got
Now,
What
it.
is it when it's pink?
Are you a licensed mold expert?
I'm a licensed mold assessor, licensed mold remediator, certified mold assessor, certified mold remediator, certified mold inspector.
And
How
this
long
is
did all
This man
why
wears many
appraisers cannot say this is mold because I do not carry the.
How-
Why
How long
not,
did that take you?
Danielle?
We're not
Go-
certified
go,
for
go
it.
get certified.
What for? What would it?
So
it
you
would
can
do me
say
no
mold.
good.
No, that's actually
It would open up liability for
yes,
me.
that's
Actually,
it would be a
she-
nail in the coffin.
Even with here's the tricky part about all this, because I hold many licenses in the state of Florida, and I have to be careful on my report says which license I'm using.
Yep.
And if I'm using only that license in that report, I can't mention the stuff
mention
from
it.
the other stuff. So when I do a home inspection, I don't mention engineering or mold. When I'm doing an engineering assessment, I don't mention mold unless I put that in the purpose, saying that I'm there to comment on mold. You have to be very careful about that in Florida.
You have to wear one hat at a time.
So,
So
what-
how long was your certification? How long did all that take you?
I will say this, though, to Danielle's credit. Most appraisers, most home inspectors, most engineers, without a mold assessment license, can see what mold is and where it's growing. We just can't say it
We
because
can't
it's
say
the
it.
division of licenses. So now back to your question. Because I had this extensive background in home forensics, I was able to pick everything up in less than a week.
Home forensics, was that something else?
No, forensics is the study of. You've seen you haven't seen CSI.
Okay.
Okay, forensics is the study of how things happen and why they happen.
In a home as it relates to
In a home.
anything hurricane damage,
Forensics.
deterioration.
You want to figure
wear
out
and tear.
what happened to this home and why it was caused. So when it came time to do all my mold stuff, I was able to pick it up in less than a week because I had this extensive background in it.
How long did home forensics take you? What's
Well,
that
home forensics is just that's the
experience?
well, that's just. I'm not certified in homes forensics. That's just the broad category of what we do. Anyone that goes into a home, an appraiser, sticks their head up in the attic and sees mold or growth, or a home inspector goes up on a roof and sees that it's 25 years old and needs to be replaced, that's all in the category of home forensics.
Home forensics.
Kind of like
It's on our
it's kind of like
exam.
CSI
For your house.
Yeah.
It's on our exam.
Minus the zoom
being
in
appraised.
stuff.
So what about the smell of mold? Because I know, like, when I did my allergy test, mold is like way at the top. Like when they do the little thing, it's almost a 10. It's
Uh-oh.
huge for me. I'm highly allergic to mold.
Any appraiser,
I can't
would
take
assume, could
penicillin
could
or
smell
any
it
of
walking
those.
in the door.
You
So that's what I was saying,
you
talk
can
about the smell.
generally smell mold when you walk in. Like when you're doing a mold assessment or a mold inspection, it's a smell first, visual second type test. I
It
mean,
is, and your eyes
I can
will
smell
water
it. Yeah.
depending on how bad the mold is.
I can feel it like in my throat,
Throat.
and it makes me start coughing.
It'll make you have a sore
goodness.
throat.
It could. I mean,
That's
here's
serious.
the bad part about it. It's different for different people. So,
Right. How you react, right?
and it's also different based on your exposure time. And here's where it's dangerous for people like Danielle and myself. We could be fine up to a certain point, and then all of a sudden it starts bothering us because we cross that LD50 threshold.
That happened to me in the housing crisis. I was doing a lot of real estate owned homes for banks, and I was going into these homes that have been closed up and molded over, black mold floor to ceiling in the drywall.
Yum.
We did
I've seen
not
some
know
like that.
the precautions that we should have been wearing. A
Mask.
ventilator, and we
yeah.
were wearing a regular mask.
Ugh.
I ended up with a double pneumonia from it and learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Well,
really
the nice
fast.
thing, the one nice thing, if there is any one nice thing about COVID, is the fact that all of the inspectors are now
We are
wearing
covered.
We're wearing masks.
Yeah.
They're just standard. So just that simple N95, or not even an N95, just a face covering.
Anything is better
helps.
than nothing.
N95, when it comes to mold remediation, N95 is the minimum that you should be wearing.
Interesting.
If you know
And I
you're
wear a
doing-
ventilator.
yeah.
So when we come back, maybe we can talk a little bit about some
You
got it.
You got it. You got it.
regulations.
They don't exist.
They don't.
Use your words.
Well, that was quick.
That was quick. Yeah, it's a misnomer.
We won't talk about it
The
when we come
federal,
back.
there are no federal regulations or standards regarding
Okay,
mold.
so the other one I want to talk about is the UV lighting. That'll take you a little longer when we come back.
Doesn't really work. The stuff
Doesn't
you
work?
And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about why it doesn't work when we come back
Well,
from
that's
break.
it. Like the show's over. We already
show's-
Leo answered it. That's
Done.
it.
All right,
We're
listen to
done.
music for the next 15 minutes.
813-377-2775.
Maybe we could talk about how to get rid of the mold.
Yeah, we should talk about that. I'll talk about the UV. It's just that
It would be in hospitals. It would be everywhere. If UV was working, it would be.
UV can work, but it's the size and the amount you would need
Yeah.
for it to work is where the misnomer is.
So, Leo, if somebody wants to test for mold, they can do that with you?
We'll talk about that when we come back from break.
Okay.
He is taking.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
That is our new saying. Welcome home.
Welcome home to Tampa Home Talk.
Why did it
That's
take
where we're
us
at.
6 years to come up with that?
It's been 8.
We can barely figure out who needs to open us back up after a break.
Well, if I'm the guest for the segment, I shouldn't open myself back up.
You're right about that.
That's true.
Speaking of which, let's talk about them toothbrushes. So I got asked a question right before break about UV lights. And does UV lamps kill mold? And the short answer of that is if you're buying the cheap residential ones, it's not going to work. And if you want proof of that, everyone who has an electronic toothbrush with the UV light component that kills the bacteria and the viruses, open the lid and take a look down there. It's covered in mold or microbial growth. Because the UV light in that dosage isn't going to kill the mold or fungus.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was interesting. During the break, we actually talked to Bill Dobman about the shower door and one of the advantages that he has with the frameless doors. And what was that about, Bob?
Bill?
Bill, sorry.
So the doors on the My Pivot doors have a special type of hinge that allows the doors to swing both in to the shower and out. Now, your traditional frame doors that builders put in years ago swung out only. So, when you were done showering, instead of leaving the door in the out position, it would drip on the floor, causing a safety problem. Nobody would leave their door outward, so it could only ventilate up over the top. And it took a long time to dry it out and evaporate. But with our frameless doors, when you're done showering, you can pull the door in, let all the moisture that's on the door drip back into the shower drain, but it lets all the air in to dry the shower inside the shower out more rapidly. So that reduces your moisture. It therefore reduces the potential of mold growth.
I like that.
Yeah, it's solid
I
advice.
might have one of his doors.
The quicker you can dry it
That's
out,
what mine
the better
does.
off you are.
Yeah,
Or
because
you can
again,
squeeze
control
it.
the moisture, you control the mold. Because the mold is always going to be there. You just want to control its spreading and growth.
And I can imagine a shower curtain probably carries more mold than any place in the house. Like if you have a traditional shower
God.
curtain, it has to be the most mold in the house.
That liner is the
liners, that pink
Yeah,
line
throw
at
it
the
away.
bottom.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's a good part about mold growth. You can see it. You can actually see when your shower liner is covered in this brown or black or other colored substance.
Have you ever noticed that Leo's answers are either super short or really long?
I got to do a little of both.
So what are
Where'd
some
that
basic...
voice come from? I like that.
Every now and
It's
again.
my 2-hour voice, 2-hour radio voice coming through.
What's the basic mold cleanup, like without trying to scare our listeners away?
$10,000. That's all that's
$10,000
covered.
grand.
Vinegar, paint, or just
So the
light a
basic mold
match.
cleanup is going to start with first, you've got to do a combination of things. You have to identify where the water source is, and you have to address that, because there's no mold remediation out there that's going to be effective if you do not fix the source,
Fix the root of the problem.
which is either your roof, your plumbing, the fact you leave your windows open in rainstorms. I mean, you have to fix the source. Once you fix the source, it's all about containment and removal. You want to contain the mold, and then you really want to remove the substances. That would be preferred. So we can do things like the actual remediators. I only have the remediator license to know more about it. The remediation part involves a simple remediation would be an air scrubber that's taking the air to the outside world and a dehumidifier. Normally, if you've ever been through a mold or a dry out process, there's usually two pieces of equipment. One's cleaning the air, one's heating the air, so it just evaporates.
Because I've seen that when they clean the mold. Speaking of the bleach, right? When you spray it, it puts all these spores in the air. They have this machine that like sucks everything through, right? Like it sucks all the spores.
Air scrubber.
Okay. Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Air scrubber.
So the basic. So the first thing is you're gonna stop the source of the leak. Then you're gonna contain the area, stop the source of the leak. Then you're gonna dry out the area, and then you're gonna remove or dispose of the materials covered in mold, and that is a basic cleanup step.
What do one of those machines cost?
If you were
The air scrubber, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, where they bring it. You know what I'm talking about. Where they bring them.
If you were to get a basic set, which you really need 2 of each, 2 scrubbers, 2 humidifiers, you're probably looking at about $6,000 investment for everything you would need to do a basic cleanup.
Is it going to be your new side hustle? You're going to go get the
I'm
license?
gonna go. Me and Leo are gonna go in business. I'm gonna sell some
for apartments. For apartments only.
Dogecoin. Yeah, exclusively for apartments.
We're back to the Dogecoin.
And this is back with the insurance companies. The 10,000 limit is just ridiculous because if I go into an apartment and I put 4 pieces of equipment in, I'm getting paid the same if I put in 30 pieces of equipment in a larger house.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Bucks for a minute, shall we?
The
And
Brady's. Wait, we still have more questions. We still have more questions.
She's tired of. She's tired of.
I need to
learning
find
about
a single
fungus.
man with an extra ticket.
A single man.
Single man with an extra ticket.
If you are a single man with an
does it
extra
have to be
ticket to the
single
Super
or
Bowl,
just to
text
have an extra?
813.
if it's not single, it's okay. I'll still
Text
go.
Danielle.
It's Super Bowl. The morals are getting twisted. She's
Totally.
okay if,
So
as a
our
side.
guest Bill can give us a little Buccaneer story.
Yeah.
Oh, is he
Bill.
I thought he was going to the Super Bowl. I thought that's where this was going.
Oh no.
No.
You looking
so-
for a date, Bill?
Just say to the Super Bowl.
Right. No, I was just going to say we're really pulling for the Bucks because we got a call back in March from the Bucks to put a couple of shower doors down in the locker room because they were one of the first teams to hire female coaches. So
They were
wanted a
the
good
first team. They were the first team.
First team in
to
the
hire
in the
female
NFL.
coaches. Yep.
Yeah.
In the NFL, yeah.
Yeah, they've got Lori Locus and Morel. It's hard to pronounce her last name. It's Jevadarfar.
Ooh, wow. Hey, that's a good swing at it. Yeah.
There we go.
Great attempt.
Yeah. No, I think that was good. I couldn't have done it.
Jevadarfar. Anyhow, they got 2 female coaches, and they needed some privacy shower door put in for them. So we're really pulling for them, seeing that they're customers of ours.
Awesome.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah. That's great.
Definitely proud of that.
So
Besides,
go.
I'm a New England guy by heart, so I've been through this.
Oh,
right,
so
yeah.
are you a Brady Bunch? One of the Brady Bunchers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's from
When you
Western
grow up in
Mass.
Massachusetts, you have to be.
You have to be. Even, Brady's not from Massachusetts. Is born
He's
in.
adopted.
It's bred in you.
But guess what? He's now Tampanian. He's selling off his real estate.
How
in other
is
places.
that so nice though for people that were born and raised in Massachusetts and have had him for so many years up there, and then they come down here and they get him here too?
Well, and I'm going to say this with the most respect. Sometimes the Patriot fans were so obnoxious because they're like, we're going to do this.
That's just because that's.
And it was like a little bit annoying.
It's really not.
to watch the same
That's
team
the New
win
England
all the time.
vibe. Like people from New England,
Hey,
whether it be Massachusetts, New York, Maine, Vermont, we are just really powerhouses, and we
She's
believe.
speaking for
Is it
herself.
really?
I'm speaking
is
for
it really
myself.
annoying
We
to watch the
believe in
same team
ourselves.
winning over and over again? I mean,
Yeah.
the 4 of us are a great team, and we win constantly.
It's true.
We are a
nothing
bunch of
nothing
winners.
but W's.
It's all
Listen,
about winning.
I'm excited about the Super Bowl, and I'm betting on the Bucks.
I'm betting
How
on
much?
the Bucks
How much
too.
you putting? How much you putting down?
Are you betting against me?
Yeah,
No.
we're betting chicken wings.
I
at
bet
this
chicken
point.
wings futures. Chicken wings futures.
Futures.
Chicken wings at
Well,
Katrina's.
you didn't know I
to my
shorted
house.
the chicken wings. So I really need them to fall.
I went all in on Robin Hood on chicken wings. Tyson.
All right. This has been a super fun hour. I cannot wait to come back next week. I might have to just buy an hour on Monday so we can talk about the Bucks.
I know.
Yeah,
We'll table that.
I
for
decided to
couple
take a
days.
half day on Monday.
All right. Go Bucks. The
Go
channel
Brady's,
will
go
shut off
Brady's.
on Monday if
Go
the Bucks win.
Brady's,
All right.
go Brady's.
Live where you live or we'll fix it. Welcome home.
Welcome
Yes,
home.
there it is.
Where you live.